guys? Welcome back to my channel for another episode of Myth Busting. In today's video, we're going to uncover all the truths of your metabolism. Is it really not working right, or are you just eating too much? Let's uncover the truth. Let's start by defining what metabolism really means. It's how much energy we expend on a daily basis and how much that our body can actually process in terms of nutrition. So it's much more than just the calories that you burn during a workout. Too many people fall into the trap of training to burn calories rather than training to gain strength and have higher performance in the gym. If that's you, you need to reevaluate your training. The reason we step into the gym isn't to burn extra calories. The reason we do cardio isn't to burn extra calories. Our entire caloric intake versus whatever we put out needs to be cohesive. So if it means you need to eat a little bit less in order to perform better, you should make that swap if you want optimal results. So factors that affect your metabolism is how much muscle mass we have on our body. The more muscle mass we have, the higher that our basal metabolic rate is going to be, our BMR. Just because muscle is much more energy costly than having fat to maintain and to grow. Also, our overall weight is going to determine part of our BMR. The higher weight that we are, the more our basal metabolic rate is going to be. So our basal metabolic rate is going to be, if you woke up late in bed and did absolutely nothing, it's the amount of calories we're going to need just to survive. So anytime we can increase that, that's not factoring in any of your NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is just things you do during a daily basis. Making a YouTube video, walking the dog, cleaning your house, working, whatever you do. Anything you do, just fidgeting. If you're a little more fidgety, you're going to tend to burn a little bit more calories in your day, just because you're moving around. There's a lot that goes through just moving my arm like this or just fidgeting around all day. You're going to burn a little bit more calories. There's also the thermic effect of food. So depending on what foods you're eating, typically spicier foods make us burn a little bit more calories just by increasing our core temperature. There's a lot of tricks that I'm going to teach you today on how to get a crazy active metabolism and fix yours if you feel like. So now let's talk about how to optimize your metabolism. If you're someone who's been eating in a deficit for so long, say we're eating 1,000 calories per day, your body will adapt. Most people don't realize that our body from the beginning of time was made to adapt to its surroundings. If you look at the study of evolution, that's the reason that we no longer look like apes. So that same rule applies. If you're only feeding your body 1,000 calories a day, it's going to learn to function on those 1,000 calories per day until it needs to make an adjustment. Therefore, if you're someone who hasn't been eating enough chronically over years and years and years and is just always dieting and not seeing results, I'm going to say the best thing for you to do is stop tracking for a month and start just eating when you are hungry. Let your body reset its hunger cues. The longer we're in a deficit, the harder it is for a body to actually know when we're hungry or just bored, or if we just diet all week and then eat everything on the weekends. That's a very bad cycle to get into, and you're going to lose your hunger cues. Hunger cues are what tells us like our stomach's growling, our mind is like, I need to eat. We lose those after chronically dieting for way too long. You should only be on a diet up to maybe 3 months and then spend at least 3 months at maintenance or in a slight surplus. So the amount of food we're taking in on a daily basis actually dictates our metabolism to some point. What I mean by that is if we're able to refeed and start increasing calories weekly, you will see that your scale weight probably won't change. If anything, you'll have a little fluctuation the first few weeks, but don't freak out. That's completely normal from a little bit of extra water. I guarantee if you're someone who is really under eating, what your calculated calories should be at and what your BMR should be at for your body weight and muscle mass, if you start upping your calories a couple hundred every week, you will start to feel better and your scale weight will not move. I've actually seen a lot of people start to lose weight on a refeed because their body is using the fuel that it's getting at a much better rate. So what happens when we're under eating is our body starts to adjust and doesn't burn off as many calories. So basically, if you are only feeding your body that 1,000 calories per day, and now you jack up to 1,500, it kind of knows that it's going to be fed and it's not going into that quote-unquote starvation mode where you start storing to make sure we have enough energy to get through the entire day. Now, theoretically, there's a lot of arguments on both sides of this, that it doesn't exist, that it does exist. I'm a big believer that your body can adapt to a lot more than people think. Again, you don't just die if you didn't eat for a day. Your body would adapt and run on stored energy. So in order to make this rebalance, I suggest doing a long refeed for 12 weeks, or depending on how severe your deficit is, could be longer, it could be shorter, but getting into a nice long refeed and doing it correctly rather than just upping your calories like crazy right away and then not understanding why the scale is gaining weight. We need our body to readjust to intaking normal amounts of food. So that brings me to my next point. It also does depend what you're eating. There's so many people of the if it fits your macros, it's fine, like all of that stuff. People overstress their macros. Whole foods and micros matter as well. If we're not getting the right vitamins and minerals in our diet, how can our body function optimally? You see so many people take multivitamins and things like that and think that's going to give them all the vitamins that they need. But if we're getting those vitamins and minerals on a daily basis, it's just going to help with our gut health and everything else that goes into metabolizing food and actually breaking it down. So the better we can get our system functioning from the micros in our nutrition, the better off we're going to be in the long run for actually having a healthy metabolism. So that brings me to my next point. Your body is typically happy at a body weight and body fat. This is called our body weight and body fat set points. So what that means is your body typically is in about a 5% body fat range where it's happy. For me, that's around 8% to around 12%. So the way that I structure my dieting is when I get up all the way down towards 8%, I know it's time for me to start increasing and trying to add a little bit more muscle mass. And then when I push all the way up to that 12%, I know it's time for me to start pulling calories out and trying to get a little bit leaner. This is just where my body finds its ideal state. Your body strives to stay homeostatic and stay in homeostasis for as long as possible. And it's very hard to push out of those ranges. That's why you see some people can eat anything that they want and they don't really gain weight. Just their body's happy there and they're able to maintain with their lifestyle. Same thing with body weight. I know for me, my ideal weight is between 195 and 205. So anytime I get on the leaner side, I try to just increase my muscle mass at that body weight, and then I fluctuate all the way up towards 205. So I hope you guys learned something today. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment. Also, please ask me some questions in the comments. I'd love to cover anything that you guys are thinking about. And I will see you guys next week, as always.